3 people in the house. See what we can do today. Little update on the Soulogy Fest, on the energy out there. What's up, Xana Kozar? Can't wait to see you. I might be going through Dallas, Fort Worth very soon. You know, I don't know what to do, but just to keep getting up every day and doing the best I can and asking the Mother Goddess every time I hit my knees at night and pray. You know, there's a lot of energy out there. It's affecting people in a lot of different ways. Got people doing crazy things like me, living on the other side of the world for my wife and trying to do a Celergy Fest, trying to serve. Come over here to Sedona, just had been guided here. It makes no sense, but we're making great contacts and we're making progress. Thank you very much, Donald Washington, because sometimes it gets difficult to keep doing this. Delia Flores, what's happening? Mickey Robinson, Gene Walensky, so many names, Laura. Just want to say thank you for your continued love and support and contributions. It allows us to keep doing this every day by the seat of our pants, and right now that's about where we're at. But we're going to keep on plugging away every day. My understanding with the universe is that you just put out the best you can energetically in the triad trinity energy, and abundance in many forms will come to you. So I got a little something I want to share. I wrote this last night. It's called Holding Space. And I think we can all relate to that. We've all been space holders and we've all needed people to hold space for us. So it's called Holding Space. We asked a lot of ourselves to come here, especially of our human aspects. But now it's time. It's their time to be free. The wars can be over. We ain't life's leftovers. We ain't universal refugees. We know we taking up space and no space don't come free. I see your brilliant faces washing all over me. Where 2 has become 3. 2 has become 3. This is the age of the Trinity. We're reaping wisdom of the wisdom trees. Life is a luxury in itself. It's a sacred sexuality. The spirit tree is living free. All beliefs are gone, they've gone obsolete. Where glory calls us to our fullest and grace implores us to be our purest. Where we can no longer fool us. When we go down to the realest, start to feel and heal. Stars can feel us, we reveal us finally love and trusted. In ourselves, now in each other. Every son is the father, every daughter is the mother. How hard is it to love the world, ourselves and one another? It's in the walls come tumbling down, they come on down like a freight train. Solar flares like coated rain, raining of a new domain, tapping into the universal mainframe. No one left to blame, it's the same thing. Human beings in the Hall of Fame. The shame is the fame, sitting back is the lame. Old game drives the brain insane to the mother's membrane. We changed the game, it's rearranging the earth station, lessons of revelation. Now we learn to say, I don't know. With honor we let that shift go. Life is coming round now, promenade apocalyptic. Let's not let the skeptics infect us, overcome and object us, so they may have tested us. We're just getting to the best of us. Where we, the gods we are impressed by what we're doing, where we're going, how we're doing it. Feel the power growing in the solar plexus, triple beam, Blu-ray, tragic schemes, found the magic underneath the fine lights, downloads, and moonbeams. We're taken into consciousness where we think the worst of us, forget about the best of us, learning to trust with a new paintbrush. Life is a canvas now, let's get over the wild. Let's take this one mother down to the depth of our knowing. I call it soul lean. I call it soul lean. Or you can call it Soulogy. All right. Thank you for letting me share that. What's happening, everybody? We got 51 people in the house, and it's incredible times. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's, for me, it's just been fast forward since the 1st of June, and now we get into July, and it's not going to slow down. We got a Soulogy Fest coming up. We got about, I think we got about 35 or 40 tickets sold now, which we still have about another 50 plus days. And I know that we're going to have a great turnout. We're still putting the schedule or the itinerary together. I just talked to Marina Govier, We're updating the website. We're going to put some of the people that will be performing and presenting. But remember that well over half of the people that come onto the stage and perform, share, present, are going to be pulled from the people that attend. I mean, I think this is the way that we're being directed at Soulogy to go forward, and that is to basically create space for the 99.9%. And a shout out to all those light workers and all those star seeds and all those awakened individuals who develop platforms and who've been out there sharing what they can, because you can't take that away from anybody. You can't take away that they have the courage to share everything that they're receiving, or some of the things they're receiving. So I want to invite people into the studio. We've got a show with Victoria Lillenquist here in Sedona. She's going to be coming by in about an hour. That show starts in about an hour and a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the link, and I'm going to put it onto the YouTube and onto the Facebook. So let me just do that real quick, and then we'll get into some conversations. If anybody has any comments or questions, please feel free to put them up on the comments. We're getting all the comments from all the platforms here. I just put up the guest link to come onto my Facebook page. If you're on one of the other Facebook pages, please go to my page, and if you want to come on and click the link. Here, let me just put this up real quick. Please go to my page, and if you want to come on and I'm putting this on YouTube now. Here, let me just put this up. Okay, there we go. Please go to my page. Turn that guy off. So anybody wants to come in, just click the link. We're looking for new faces always. We'd like to see new people come up. Jolene J, long time no see. Marie Erskine, long time no see. Bruce, you always have an open invitation. Hello, Ashley O'Hara. Yeah, it's going to be, I think, just going to continue to build in intensity this summer. I'm not a prognosticator, but just based on everything that I've been feeling for the preceding months and everything that we've all experienced together, I don't see how this summer is going to get any less intense, and I don't think that's a bad thing. There's a lot of stuff getting cleared out, but to every degree that we transform and equalize our personal shadows, our personal prejudices and biases, we gain in skills, abilities, and higher sensitivities, and the overall experience that we're having here in this beautiful realm that we're just beginning to really appreciate. I think, as a clan, that we're all the same clan. So anyway, anybody want to come in? I put the link up on my Facebook page. It's in the comments, and it's also in the live chat on YouTube. Because if you don't do something, I'm going to have to. But been having a lot of fun this past week with Amethyst and Ty. We've done a few sessions. Everything we've done, we've actually streamed. We've had some really powerful moments where something happens and, there's these explosions of inspiration, and it actually sounds pretty good. And then there's other times where it's not so easy and the voices are pretty off key. But I don't think there's anything wrong with putting all of us out there. I think eventually that's where we're all going to be anyway, in an environment that's 100% telepathy. I just feel like, it's been a very scary scenario for me. When we sat down to do the sessions last night, I was physically depleted, and you just learn every time you try something. You learn you got to get rest. You learn you got to find that heart space if you're going to try to do any rapping or singing, and fitting it in with the music of a couple of great musicians. And I'm telling this story because this really applies to every day, moment by moment, pretty much now for all of us, is where we're making these choices to step through our fears, to follow our guidance, and step into the unknown. And I just hope that, as always with Soulogy, that we put out the raw and the real and the transparent to the best of our abilities. I know that we're all working on ourselves. If anybody's going to be in the Arkansas area, August 26th, 27th, 28th, we are going to be gathering on Mulberry Mountain at the base of the Ozark Mountains. It's a beautiful place, 650 acres. We've got a huge stage. We've got a big tent. We're going to have a lot of activities. Serena Smith is going to be doing some Pilates and yoga kind of stuff, which I don't know too much about, but we're going to sit down and have lunch with her so we can give a full report of what she's going to be offering in the main tent. We've got a lot of great musicians that are coming, but we also, just as equally important, we have many great presenters that we're lining up. I don't want to release all the names yet because we still got some people that I need to touch base with. But one of those folks will be Eric Rankin in his sonic geometry, I believe is what he calls it. Forgive me. Amazing man, very down to earth. He closed out Friday night at the Soulogy Fest in Sedona last year. Oh my God, here comes an old friend. Okay, here we go. We'll get back to that in a bit. Hang on, add to the right. Hello, I was just talking about you 2 or 3 days ago to Denise. What's happening?
Hi, I'm sorry, I need to switch something on.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, the lineup will be perfect. It worked out perfect last year. And yeah, I was just Kobe Duplay. I was just answering her comment. So what's going on, Zahara
Hi,
Celestial? What's happening?
hi, lovely to connect with you again.
Yes, it's good to see you. It's really good to see you. I
Yeah,
see you out in the field, and God, there's so many connections have been made, and I can't believe how long it's been.
yeah, yeah. Well, time has disappeared, hasn't it?
It has. It really has. I'm
um,
gonna have to
yeah.
turn this fan off. Hang on. Let me turn this off. Yeah, it's too loud. It sounds like a freight train's coming through here, and I got enough of a challenge trying to deal with all these previously non-visible, non-audible energies that are coming in. I know you're very lit, and my reference to time was the same as yours. Like, I was talking to just different people, and I can't believe how much time has passed. I think we got another friend in here, so we're gonna have two on the screen.
Oh,
Let's see. This is my friend Shirley. This is my friend
oh,
Shirley. Send her your. There you go. I stayed with her and her beautiful husband,
oh,
Earl,
did you?
and our beautiful friend over there. And it was for 5 days, and it was before I came here,
Oh,
and
wow.
it was a beautiful experience. So this is Zaharia. This is Shirley. Uh,
Yeah, we know each other very well.
oh, you do?
Yeah.
You, I didn't know that. How's that?
Mhm.
That's cool. Hang on. Let me clear
Through
this.
you, I'm sure. Through you and Morgan, and I wish to send lots of love to Morgan as well.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So, what's happening? Let's just go around the horn. Zahara, you didn't really get a chance yet. We'll come back to you, Shirley. Shirley, I appreciate your comment today. It hit home, and the reason is because that very person and about three other came to visit me last night.
Well,
Some,
cool.
yeah, four transition brothers came to visit me. One was a rapper. One was Meatloaf. One was what's his name, Leonard Cohen. And the other one I can't
Wow.
remember now. I can't remember who the other one was, but it's some kind of jazzy guy. And I was writing music, and I don't know what happened. It was crazy. I just went into this trance. But Zaharia, what's happening? What's going
At the
on with
moment,
you?
at the
Hmm.
moment, while I was coming back from my walk this afternoon, and I was feeling this resonance coming through, and I was thinking, I wish I could articulate this.
Mm.
I wish I could. Um, uh, the light, very brilliant. I think we're running out of words really
Yeah,
to because the words are from the 3D, but we will get the vibration when we say the word anyway.
yeah,
Um, um, yes, that's uh, sh- shedding lots of skins and having been forced to be within my physical body a lot with various having to be still. And
yeah,
I feel that's because of what's coming through for individually and collectively. So a lot of stillness. Um, and yeah, I feel huge change coming through for a lot of us. And so a lot of people I feel reaching out, wanting to know who they are, where they're going, what's their path,
mm.
um, because we are holding so much light now. We're on, as it feels like we're just touching something. We're
Yeah.
just about there, and hence all these questions and this. I'm feeling that around me and lots of people, and so I'm been doing lots of soul readings, and now more than ever, and it's not just where I am, but where the collective is. I'm being able to reach out, if you like, to uh, bigger aspects of people, for want of way of describing it.
Right. Bigger
And so
aspects of you, or bigger aspects
of them,
of them. So you're
uh,
connecting to their higher aspects, higher
yeah,
aspects
yeah,
than
so
normal
much easier,
as
so
a
much easier.
practitioner. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not just where I'm resonating, is what I meant. It's because where we're all resonating, because I knew when I started doing healing, I learned this lesson very, very early on, that I could only reach to where someone was allowing me to reach.
Right.
It's where they were allowing themselves to receive the healing. It didn't matter if I was like the most amazing healer,
Well,
because I had such different spectrums. I'd have people who were like from one spectrum really awakened and I could time travel with, and others I couldn't even read their chakras.
we need to do a time travel demonstration here on Soulogy. If you're up for that, hold that thought. Let's go to Shirley. Shirley. Shirley.
Oops, hang on a sec. Sorry. Hey.
That's okay.
Um, yeah.
You need a second?
It'll be okay. He can wait.
Earl, tell Earl he's got to wait. So okay, tell Earl to get his guitar. Let's play a song. Earl's amazing. I still got a bunch of video clips of him. Hey, so Zaharia, she brought up a really good point. Zahara, she was talking about how as a practitioner, and even with herself, how there's the higher aspects of herself, higher aspects of her clients, and I guess other acquaintances and interactions are more available. And I can feel that too. I've felt like I've had a couple of, I don't really, I don't really resonate with, I don't know why I had that on, sorry. I don't really resonate with the walk-in thing, not because I don't believe it's true. I just think it's higher aspects of ourselves. But I've had this situation happen twice in the last week. And Morgan wrote me a message last night I woke up to where she had another experience, which is her second one in the last 30 days. Like at a time, higher aspect, in a different world, at a place, like all these, like you're talking about, all these things you can't explain. But anyway, Shirley, first of all, let me just say Shirley's, I've met her and her beautiful husband. Uh, they invited me over. We've been talking for a little over a year, but they invited me to their place where I was trying to find a place to broadcast. But I guess Mother Sedona had another, the universe had another, plan. But yes, I just want to recognize her and her husband. We'll see them at Celergy Fest, and yeah, they're just great people. And it was really refreshing to be able to like charge up over there. You still there, Shirley, or did we lose you?
Yeah, you look a bit paused.
Yeah, yeah, she's lost. Yeah, that's why we couldn't broadcast over there because they live out in the country, and
Right.
yeah, yeah, I think there's definitely something to that. This whole thing with the higher aspects being in the field now. Did you catch all that questioning, Shirley?
No, I got disconnected, I
Oh, yeah, I
guess.
know. So basically, what she was talking about, the higher aspects of herself and her clients, and I guess other acquaintances or people she interacts with, has come into the field in let's just say a more than noticeable way in the last few weeks. I've noticed it with myself. I felt like I had a couple of times where some higher aspect of me actually walked in and took over. And I know Morgan's written about it this month or this past month, and she wrote me a message last night that it happened to her again last night. Have you had any stuff like that happening where you feel like you're communicating or hearing from other people's higher aspects and or your own?
Definitely. I mean, first of all, it's the first time I've been live like this, so it's like big stepping out for me. And I just started writing again, and when I'm start writing, I just kind of put pen to paper, and most of it is not a thought. It's coming from somewhere higher than myself, definitely. And so that is coming through fast, really fast right now. And it seems like almost every morning something wants to be said, and put into words and expressed. And so yeah, it's exciting. I'm like, this, I think I said to someone today, there's like this huge energy
Come in.
running through my body that, that is a little bit unnerving, but, yet it feels so good that I know it's positive. It's just the body readjusting, 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 readjusting. That's the way I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like it's not just a one-dimensional thing. It's not always emotional, and it's not always physical, and it's not always mental. Uh, and then you have the dehydration and the memory lapses. And I don't know about you, the two of you, but we'll start with Zahara. One of the things that's really mind blowing to me is there's this kind of like Yellow Brick Road, kind of energy bouncing in front of me. And I've heard other people kind of refer to this, how things are unfolding in an organic and natural way. But at the same time, I'm trying to kickstart, because we couldn't really broadcast for 25 days, I'm trying to kickstart a pre-existing energy that I hope has been built in a very open field. And also also put together Soulogy Fest, but these are without using the methods that we had in the past, which is scary as hell. Like, it's just like crazy scary. And everything has to be done. Ah, hey, we got visitors. Hang on. Come in. Hang on. Y'all talk. Hang on. I got to talk to these people. It's a crazy story. Zahara, can you hear me? No, she's out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so did you
Okay.
did you get all that?
Can.
Yeah. Okay. Zahara, you take over. Zahara, take over for a second.
They're gonna go get a snack and come back, or is that? What's
That's
your
fine.
schedule, or do you want to talk with them?
Okay, hang on. Somebody talk. I got to talk to these people real quick.
Zahara, are you there?
Am I?
Where
You're frozen. You're just frozen.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I might have to leave and come back. Okay.
Okay.
And what's going? Right.
Oh,
Let's
God.
try. I'm going to try something else. It's because my computer. Yeah, it's not. Maybe I'll just. The last time I came.
She's gonna come back. I don't know if everybody can hear me. I'm just gonna, I guess, talk a little till Todd gets back. But yeah, this week has been incredible.
Oh, what
Absolutely
happened?
incredible.
She
Oh,
disappeared.
now, yeah, she's gonna we come back. There she comes.
This is hilarious. Where'd she go? Okay, so that's another thing I've noticed too. Is there's a lot of tech issues. A lot of tech issues happening. And I don't think that's just due to normal things. Where are we at? Where are we at in this conversation? Zahara, you're sick.
Can you hear me?
You're in and out. You're coming in and out. You're glitching big time.
Can you hear me?
Let's see. Can you hear this?
Wow.
Okay, you're up now. Go ahead, Zahara. Oh, there's a serious lag. There's a serious lag.
I seem to.
Yeah. Okay.
My internet is very good where I am.
Well, it's
So
not your
this is-
internet,
this
it's your
is-
frequency or our
this is
frequency.
the vibration.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the frequency. My internet, I bought a very high
Yeah.
costing internet.
Uh,
So this is when I felt coming through my heart chakra that was immense, and I think it's just together with everybody. Shall I come and go?
Yeah, I think try again. We'll try one more time. So what are you doing, Shirley? What are you guys up to? How are you feeling?
Oh gosh, just I'm feeling great. I'm
Did you
dreaming
did
like
you did
mad.
you ha- I'm just curious because when I left there, I didn't leave till like 3 in the afternoon. I drove 20 hours, except for
I could,
a 90-minute stop having coffee in Clovis, New Mexico, because I was guided to with a beautiful sister. But I just felt like I got supercharged over there. Did you feel anything with the in the aftermath of us all kind of like spending time together?
it was amazing. I mean, shoot, I was amazed to see the next morning that you were in Sedona. I was just laughing. I'm like, oh my God, that bugger drove all night.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it was
But
crazy because I didn't really have a choice. I didn't really have a
geez.
choice, and it just I felt like this magnetic pull when I got on the other side of Dallas Fort Worth, and somehow or another I ended up on Highway 20, which I don't even know, instead of 30, or I'm sorry, yeah, instead of 30, because eventually I got to make it to 40, right? And
Did
because
you did you turn left out of our driveway or right when you left?
I turned right.
Oh, you did. Then how the hell did you get to 20?
I
Huh.
don't know. And I grew up in Dallas Fort Worth, so I was driving through and I was listening to music, and I was using the GPS. And the next thing I know, I'm on Highway 20 headed to El Paso. And I'm like, what the hell? And then as I'm approaching Amarillo, I got this message: you need to cut across diagonally northwest across New Mexico. And I thought, what the hell? I looked at the GPS, and it's like these little bitty roads, that don't have any lights. And a lot of them were just two-way roads, 2 lanes, two-way. And then right after I got that message, this lady, who I recognized her name because she'd made contributions and comments before, she's like, if you want me to come and meet you on Highway 40, I'll drive up there. It's like an hour. I'm in Clovis, New Mexico. And I was like, I'm like, an hour. I'm coming right through Clovis. And so we met for coffee. It was cool. It was nice to sit down with so many people, especially women that, are doing this grid work and anchoring in, just, in their own experience and interaction with the universe. And they've been doing it for years. And this lady like
Hey,
saw angels. I mean, like physical angels 3 days in a row. She's got so many stories within her own life, but like there's somebody out there like that. Go ahead.
hey, Zahar, I wanted to ask you. I've had a blue heron come into my life. It's showed
Oh,
twice
wow.
in the backyard, and then I said, okay, if you are to be my new guide, you need to come one more time. And sure enough, the next day I took the dogs to the lake, and as soon as I turned the corner, out comes this blue heron out of the trees. Now, I mean, I started reading about blue heron, and it is freaking amazing. Can you tell me anything that you know of them?
Um, of them, well, in the Celtic literature, crane and heron, maybe not just in Celtic, they bring new life. So they move between the realms and dimensions. Um, so they're in a lot of fairy myth about that. So often shamanically, Celtically, shamanically, they can carry people into the other world, the upper world. Um, they're elders. They hold a lot of stillness and wisdom. They move between air and water. Um, and then there's the connection of this being, which feels very galactic, avian with you, and has a male presence. So that is something else as well, another layer. So that's what came up. But I love blue heron. They feel prehistoric to me. They feel so
Mm,
ancient
yes,
and graceful. They have
yes.
they're predator, but they teach us so much about um, being focused, being patient, being still, um, and they're always bridging between the worlds, between the realms. So I think they can literally and energetically, therefore, carry us through into the next stage. So Heron coming for you, I would suggest, brings forth all that you've been supported and assisted to be carried through to the new birth, because they birth new things, new beings, new life through. So you're being carried.
Wow, you know, I read, part of what I read was they can actually fly with one wing. Isn't that
Wow.
crazy? I know, like I'm like, and so guess, okay, you guys, I'm gonna announce this, and next weekend there's a big tattoo artist festival here with like, I don't know, 60 plus tattoo artists. So I think I'm gonna get my first tattoo ever of a blue heron somewhere on
Wow.
my body that
Wow.
is of
Only
least
Earl
amount of pain, of least amount of pain,
only
please.
Earl will know the location of that blue heron tattoo. Uh, when I was homeless, when I first reawoke, I used to go to the sanctuary, and divine things would happen. Let's just put it that way. You know, in that space, we're like, am I crazy? So I was kind of in that space. Am I crazy? You know, some of the things were just unarguable. You know, like a glass shattering in my basically all over me, or uh, apparitions, angels, demons. But one night, because it was all based, my awakening at the root was based with the trees and the wind and nature and animals. I was having all these animal encounters. So at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I walked out to the sanctuary where there was a big pond because I was called there. I'd been dancing all night. And so I didn't have nothing better to do when you're houseless. So I didn't know what to do. So I was told, go sit on the bank of, like 15 feet off of the shoreline. Just go sit on the ground. So I'm sitting there for like 15 minutes thinking, you must be crazy. You're homeless, you're, whatever you think. And all of a sudden, this giant blue heron
Oh,
flew right in front of me. Like I could have almost touched it. And then it stopped about 7 feet away from me, like maybe a couple of
wow.
meters. And it sat down, looked at the pond, and then turned. And I'm looking at it going, what the hell is this? And it turned and looked at me, just that straight, looked right in my eyes, and told me, you're not crazy. And it told me that it was a new chapter, and that I was having trouble letting go of the old, that I would, and basically just to have confidence. Now, also, it gave me the Hopi. Hopi was part of it. Blue Avians were part of it, and Sirius was part of it. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
remember that.
there.
It was a big time. It was a very important time for me that night. Yeah, so
Wow.
Okay, so you've gone through it already, so you can guide me through what they're gonna take me through.
I, you don't want to go through the path I went through. That's for damn sure. Uh, but yeah, there's something to that. Yeah, that whole, I don't know if you would call it a lineage or connection, or maybe it's unique to me or unique to people that are, wherever I'm from or whatever. I don't know how you put it. I don't even know if past lives are real. Are we just having memories of the cellular
Yeah, yeah.
information in our bodies? I mean, because I know about 77 people that were Jesus, and about 150 that were his kid. But but no, I respect
Yeah.
everybody's reality. But I feel like that. What's for me, this has been challenging to the human, and it's been tough. It's tough on me, tough on my relationship, but we work through it. We always come back to love and work through it. But I know a lot of people are going through this. But for me, it just seems I'm keep being told, you're not living day by day, you're living moment by moment. And when you see something presented to you, have the guts to make the choice and run with it, you know. And then, of course, at the same token, you wake up the next day and it's a whole new world, and nothing applies that applied from the day before. So, you know. Somebody said blue
Yeah.
herons are very funny and can be chatty and instill you with vibration of what is. Yeah. Let's see here. Who was that? I just want to give him. Gene. That was Gene Walensky. Yeah. Yeah, so what else happening? What do you think? Are we going to make it? Oh, I know what I want to ask you, both of you. And I know we don't want to get caught up in the literal, but just the energetic, right? Do you think Shirley first. Do you think that there's going to be a moment like a solar flash, like a moment where energetically everybody comes to the same level? And do you think it's going to be anytime soon? Because there's been a lot of talk of that.
I don't know. I think a couple years ago I thought so, and right now I'm kind of on the bench about it. I think we've gone through some mini ones right the last couple weeks,
Yeah.
and whether there'll be something of huge extravagance that knocks everybody off their feet, and I don't know. I think there was somebody who said that might even put some people to sleep for 3 days.
Yeah, yeah. And
You
that's been
know,
said before. And I think what you were referring to is in 2019, there was a whole, I think it was like September, October, November, there was a whole wave of people that were saying it was going to be 3 days of darkness. And it was a lot of it came from Allison Coe and some other people's QHHT sessions, you know.
I think the 3 days of darkness is, this is coming to me right now as you're asking the question, is 3 days of darkness of going within
Yeah,
in your soul, and really everything coming up, and it's not gonna let up till you look at it all within yourself.
yeah, true. Zahara, what do you think?
Oh, I really love that, Shirley, what you just said there. Um, they did show me. I kept getting for. There's kind of three parts to this. They did show me before the lockdowns. I kept on getting a vision of nobody being around in the streets. It kept happening again and again and again, and then it happened. I've not been getting anything about the sun. Um, I did have two experiences, which is very much in alignment with what Shirley has said and what you're feeling. I sense is I was away with somebody in Wales, and we drove. The sat nav took us seemingly in the opposite direction, going up and up this hill, the road getting narrower and narrower, and we both were having a very different experience. I was laughing, enjoying the scenery, and going, "Why, this is a wild drive. Who knows where we're going to end up?" And I wasn't the one who was driving, so the person who's driving was having a very different experience because she was responsible for driving the car. And then we ended up going under a what do you call it? It's a several arched bridge, whatever, I forget that what that's called, a viaduct. And there's not just one bridge, but it's all connected. It's several bridges is one bridge, and as we went under, I was like going woohoo, and she was like in a very, very different space. And so for me, I said, this is what it's all about. This is ascension. So we've gone through it, and depending on your perspective, you will. It's getting so, in a way, part of me feels the only way I can describe it would be in a polarized way, that there's going to be those who will experience one way and those who will not. But I don't think it's that. But my thinking hasn't caught up yet to how it is even. Do you know what I mean? I feel
Mm-hmm.
it's already happened in a way. So, and I also feel that the spectrum is being expanded so much with dimensionally, externally, and therefore internally, that that it's individually whether how much we can hold that spectrum and focus on what's happening. In a short answer, I
That
think
was the short answer, wasn't it? Hey,
I
hey, here. Thank you both for that. Let's keep going. But Laura Larson, she's saying hi to Zahara from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Laura Larson, you got to come to the Soulogy Fest at Mulberry Mountain, 26, 27, 28th August. I'm going to be heading over to Hot Springs and trying to get some momentum over there and get some of the locals over there to come on over for at least for a day. And if you can't do it that way, you can always do it on the live stream. It's going to be pretty awesome. But I also wanted to pull up this based on what we're talking about. This is my next question. So here we go with the telepathy. So Bernadette O'Neill, thank you for the comment. Is it possibly happening from today? Now, there's been a lot of posts out there about this CERN, CERN. A lot of people saying don't concern yourself, or CERN's being turned on, so they're going to create another parallel reality, or they're going to do some kind of fuckery or something. So there's been a lot of that coming out. You know how these things come out on the light worker platforms and in the news feed from time to time. So she's saying, okay, so is it possibly happening from today? Because supposedly CERN is already been turned on, or being turned on today. A solar flash from the third dimension turning on the CERN. I think we will sleep extra, but our vibration to stay neutral and above the waves being sent out. Some will choose to connect with the energy of the CERN, and some will stay out of the field. I don't really. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, and I don't want to lead or paint a picture, but I don't. I'm at the point now where I don't care what it is external. It doesn't matter to me. It's either me or it's not me. And as far as I understand it, with my own relationship with the universe, everything outside of me is me, and I can work with everything outside of me. So I think the only, for lack of a better word, weapon that the powerless powers that be had was our own unconsciousness, and then programming us through our consciousness through different things. They would take on all these different faces and different boogeymans, that were basically created by our own mind. So my attitude is, whatever's going on, let's just get it out in the open, rip the Band-Aids off, and see what we're made of. And stop. This is just my own thing. I'm not saying it's the gospel, but stop giving any energy to this BS and these. We already can see that the false flag frequencies, such as COVID, vaccines, mandates, shootings, they're not working on the people anymore like 9/11 did. So the ball game's over. I think we ought to shine our soul's ass, shake our heart, mind, and come on down the aisle, shake it Soulogy style. No. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What do you think? What do you think, Shirley?
I agree with you, Todd, 100%, and I just really trust myself. As I've seen a couple tiny things on Facebook, I think it was, of people writing about it, and it was like my sense inside, or my intuition's like, that's not of any concern, like sort of whatever. So I really trust that for me, if I'm supposed to be drawn to something and look at something, that I'm taken there, and if I'm not, then I'm not, and right. I trust that completely, and so I believe exactly what you said, and it's, to me, it's just another distraction and whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Zahara, what do you think?
Discernment.
Discernment. Discern. There's that word again. Discern.
Yeah,
don't concern. Discern.
It's just I resonate with what we both saying.
Yeah.
I've been pulling away from social media. I post what I'm doing to offer.
Right.
I felt I find it it's the energy is pulling here, there, everywhere, and it's quite I feel quite agitated with the amount of information overload.
Yeah.
So because of that, I've not been aware of any of this CERN business. So when I hear it, I've literally heard about it now, you mentioning it. It just feels like what Shirley said, for me, a distraction, and it's another layer for us to see as because we are a soul group, a lot of us, to see. For me, it is a distraction, because if you're getting agitated, then it's in a way being of service to become more conscious of being agitated and being distracted. Because for me, it's all about switching on, yes, being awake, being more conscious to our free will and making choices. It's actually moving. I think we've been expanding our hearts, and our hearts have always been expanded. For me, it's switching on the higher mind and the higher mind of being of service. And I feel for me, that's why the Arcturians came in so early on, is because they are so awakened in their higher mind. They are abundant with love, abundant. They show how joyous and playful and creative the higher, like sacred masculine, if you want to put you could put that there,
Right.
but they're sort of beyond that in a way. So I don't even want. I think this will be the last conversation I have on this.
Yeah,
because
I like this here.
I can feel the like,
Yeah,
kind of like
good. That's
kind of
what we need to hear.
energy of it.
That's what so Bernadette said the same thing. Social media is how we connect, so it has great advantages. Click in and click out when you want what you want, right? I mean, the one thing I would bring up is there certainly to be open to anything that feels good or not is, I think, part of our journey and our evolution, because how can we grow without contrast? That's what this whole trip's about. We just happen to put it on steroids. Some people, like Franco talked about the inverted matrix, but one of the more compelling things that have come out of that part of the, let's just say, the secreted part of what's been going on has been Project Looking Glass. Because if you look at the technology, everything shifted during World War II, maybe right before World War II. We can talk about the Nazis went to Antarctica and they had flying saucers, and the reptilians were involved, and the Dracos and this and that and all that stuff, and the Nordics. And we can talk about Operation High Jump, Admiral Byrd going down in 46, 47 to Antarctica to basically take the Nazis out and getting his ass kicked and coming back. And all this stuff but to me, the only thing that really, really is interesting to me is the technology. I think most people can agree that there's a tremendous amount of technology, years and years, decades and decades, if not centuries ahead of us, that our fellow soul brothers and sisters that might be considered the 1%, or it might be in a breakaway civilization or whatever, they have access to, and it's not being shared. But one of those things involves time travel, and there's a lot of documented cases, certainly in the contemporary times, going back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, and of course since then. And of course, as time goes on, they don't talk about it as much. But my point is, in Project Looking Glass, so this was basically, just to kind of put it in a nutshell, this was an AI computer-esque type of scenario where all possibilities are fed in. And this was going on like in the 80s and 90s, and they eventually stopped doing it because no matter what they inputted into the possibilities, the result was always the same. So they shut the program down because they could not F with Mother Universe, Mother Nature. Like, this is inevitable. So I think for me, because I got to tell you, you're both friends of mine, and I'm very open. I'm scared. Not scared of life, not scared of... I'm just scared as a human going, man, I hope I don't F this up. I hope we get enough people to Soulogy Fest, or I hope people will get something out of what we're doing, or I hope I get to see Morgan again, or whatever. That part of me, the human part of me, is... and I'm very comfortable with that, in the sense that I'm allowing that to happen and I'm not resisting it anymore. I told her last night. In fact, I wrote a piece, and it was about, we've asked so much, because every decision we've made has come from our higher self, our higher soul, our higher aspects. The human isn't always comfortable with it, but there's something happening now where the human is having a say-so. That's the way I see it. And so that's kind of my thing. My thing is, we've asked a lot of our human being aspects, and Franco is a perfect example. all the work that he did, and then to be thrown in there, Lyme disease, by human technical clinical terms, but really this huge depletion of his physical body, and he's in service the entire time. So that was a lot was asked of the human aspect of Franco and all of us. So my declaration yesterday was, from here out, I'm putting Todd and Morgan first. I'm putting the human first, because we came here to do this work, and I believe we deserve to have the best life that we can. And somehow or another, I know that whatever steps we take, whatever level of, let's say, height of frequency or expanse of experience, whatever choices we make and whatever that results in, we should be the ones to make that decision. If we're going to get our necks cut off, let us be the one that creates that situation. Let's not leave it up anymore in what I might consider spiritual bypassing by constantly going, oh, I'm on a mission, I'll suffer. Bullshit. I'm ready to love, live large, and really develop our true natural nature, higher skills and abilities and sensitivities. So that's kind of my 2 cents. Shirley, what do you think?
Well, you made me really think about where Earl's and I's life has gone in the last 10 years. And, when we first got together, we were going to change, not change the world, but make such an impact, because we both saw, I think at the beginning, we both saw the soul in each other. And then when we got together, life happened, like you call it, human life happened. And I had my shit, a lot of my shit. And then Earl had his stuff. And together we imploded. I mean, for 9 years, it wasn't all joy, happy. And so, we thought we both wanted to possibly be in a community of like-minded people, and create, like I wrote about, a healing center, a light center that we were going to create. And that's before we even met, that this is what we were going to do, that we would be at a place in 2012, we met in 2011, that soon we were going to be at a place where we choose to leave the body and not die from some sort of disease. And so I had this vision, and then again, like I said, life happened. And so the more we pursued community, or we pursued stuff, the harder our own, each individual, especially with me, my own shit came back at me and said, nope, not yet. You haven't finished dealing with your stuff. You haven't finished. And kept knocking me down and knocking me down and knocking me down. And finally, I would say we let go of a bigger vision and really just said, hey, it's just me and you. let's just, like you just said, right, let's worry about us. And
yeah.
And so we went, and that's what we did. We let go of everything. And that's when the final, I believe, not final healing for me, but a huge healing for me happened over the last 6-8 months. And that I believe is life-changing, including a healing with my mother, who has been gone for 22 years.
Wow.
And so much has happened there with the lineage clearing for me. And now, only now, after going, I'm going to call it fucking hell and back, that I feel, and I think that's why I'm so bloody nervous, is I feel that we are in a place to now go forward with those dreams that we set forth in 2011.
Yeah. There was a period of time, I remember, and I think the period was, I want to say it was 2017, 18, and 19. So there was quite a few people, Zahara, you might remember, that were saying that when we came out of 2012, when 2012 kicked it off, we had like a timetable, and I believe the timetable was kind of up 2017. Like the plan was, for instance, I don't know if this is totally accurate, but that we would be at the level we're at right now in early 2017. But that we weren't ready. There was still too much shadow. So there was a period, 2017, 2019. If you picture like a tuba, like we were coming in from the mouth of the tuba and going into this kind of straight cylinder and then back out to the, like the mouth of a tuba, which would say like be the time it is now. But that during that time, we were kind of in a suspended type of framework where the emphasis or the objective was for us to individually shed and shed our shadows and so on and so on. But you said something that's really, really important. And therefore, having said all that, I think there has been that correlating with 2020 COVID, which if you really look at what it's done for us, it's been the biggest gift we had. It was a great idea, because it did create this personal self-introspection and all this deep, deep clearing so we could be prepared for the coronation and the gala that we're in now. But you said something really important that I think we've all done it, but I noticed in the past week, I've done it like I've never done it before. And I'll just use my own example, but like, let's say Soulogy Fest. I was told you do not use a festival template from before. Do not think you have to go out. And I'm not saying we are or we aren't at this point. I'm just trying to make a point. And so, for instance, I heard you don't have to go fill the stage with keynote speakers and follow a traditional template, which is really just another example of of every single thing we do every day. How are you going to approach that? Are you going to use it from methods and patterns and templates from duality? Are you going to create new ones, which is what a lot of people are feeling and hearing and doing? But what I found was so important in what you said, and what's really connected in my own right at a deeper level in the past 10 days has been letting go. So in the case of Soulogy Fest, I started just doing what we do. I started freaking out. I'm like, okay, what happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? What happens if this happens? What happens if everything goes to hell? And these are just normal things, I think, for all of us, right? This is just one example. And so then it came in and said, and really, this is really, something I use a lot, having been with Morgan and zero pointing. And that is, I was then taken to a place and I was told, I want you to look at this energy where you absolutely fail. Where Soulogy Fest is an absolute disaster, right? And put it over here. And I want you to accept that happens, that has happened. And I want you to take a look at things. And I did. And what I got was how well, I can't really explain it like Zahara said, but I got the message that it was nothing but a thing, but it's an important thing. You just do the best you can, and the universe has your back. So then it took me to this highly successful Celergy Fest and had me feel that. And then, of course, bringing both into the same space until I was seeing them as the same thing. And I've just had a lot of, I don't know how many times I've done that in the last 10 days with different things. But I think one thing we've all learned is that when we do that, whatever we wanted comes. But you can't fake the surrender, and you can't fake that you accept something that you might not want. It has to be a full-blown, to me, a testimony of faith, action of faith, declaration of faith. But yeah, I've noticed that myself. I don't know if other people are experiencing that. It will be stellar. No problem. It's going to be stellar. It's already making a... Thank you for that. Anything on the way out the door? We're going to shut it down. I got Victoria coming in here. We got to set up the... anybody in Sedona, swing on by. I always forget the address. It's across from Whole Foods with the door facing 89A. Anybody...
Can I just interject?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because my heart started beating a few minutes ago, and when that occurs, spirit's trying to come. Something's coming through my heart space. So I just needed to relay that, and I felt that, and it felt for me was saying bringing in a different rhythm, in this communication we're having. I don't know the sense of it logically, other than there's this like boom, 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 and I just wanted to say one thing that maybe it'll come out with me talking, because I don't quite know what's going on with this heart beating. Is I went on a pilgrimage recently, and there were a few of us who went on it, and we held a whole spectrum of experiences depending on where we each were. I was called to go to Ireland, and I got an experience of a shining being, the shining ones coming through my heart space and saying, "You're coming to Ireland." And it wasn't what I thought it would be, the whole journey there. I felt I was dancing on that edge of this is failing to this is going to be amazing, to actually it's the whole spectrum, all of us, the whole human experience, and also more. And then when virtually on the last day, I'm sitting with a group of people on a beautiful view from this restaurant, and I'm thinking, well, where are the shining ones? They said for me to come, and I haven't seen them, and you know what's gone on. So then everyone's in the restaurant, and then I actually go to the loo, and then they come boom right in right
When you're in the
there.
loo. Why do they always do that? Why do they always come? If we took a poll of people in these communities and said, how many people sit on the crown and write post or go down the newsfeed, it'd be like 99.9%. You can't tell me. Too many people have dropped their phone in the toilet. You know that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to throw that in there.
This is perfect. It was because I think they did it partly for that. It's because I switched off and I was being very human, and I came back and I'm like, I think I'm having a meltdown. And then all the shining ones, I saw them coming out of the hills all around, and I'm like, fucking hell.
Uh-huh.
And I got it. I really got it. And they said, you need more of you, including you, to be resonating at a higher frequency consistently, to be with us. And I sat there going, I got it. I fucking well got it.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, because this was like 2-3 weeks ago. We were talking about this on the show, where we've had these flashes. We can go longer, don't worry. Where we've had these flashes, but now we actually have the opportunity to sustain that high frequency. And to me, looking at the whole thing, it's the only time I fall out of it, because the way it was shown to me in the last few days was you're not going to be any less nervous. You're not going to feel any more comfortable or any less comfortable. You're not going to necessarily have the fewer physical, conditions or pains, or the other way. But you can do it, and the way to stay there is not to allow the loops to take over. If they come in, they come in. If feelings come in, they come in. You own them as your own, and but that's the only way. So like really trying to sustain the frequency, but also understanding that part of that, or the way to do that for me anyway, is to allow, accept, and be everything that comes my way. That's mine.
We're doing it together.
Yeah.
That's the message that they were saying. When you are a collective of you, and we are, in a way, we've already got there.
Yeah.
But that they showed me like the Soulogy Fest.
Yeah.
We're practicing being in resonance together.
Right.
And when you were saying you played with that, could it be a failure or not a failure? I was playing with that with the on one level, it could have been seen as a failure. Mm-hmm. But then nothing's a failure.
Exactly.
Because when I was hearing you talking about, like, there actually is nothing. It's experience. That's all it is.
Mm.
All it's some fucking hard experience, but
Yeah.
it's never a
I love the angels
failure.
that drop
It's
F-bombs.
never.
Mm.
I love that. We had somebody on 2 or 3 weeks ago. I believe she was older, like plus 70. She dropped a couple of F-bombs. I was like, holy crap.
Well, this is
Yeah.
a time for f bombs, isn't it?
I want to ask you though, before we go to Shirley, I want to ask you who are the shiny, in your mind, who are the shiny beings? Because I've heard a lot of people uh, talk about it. I know I've had some experiences, among others, but like, do you have any idea? I know ultimately it's us, but I mean, is there any specific lineage attached to it?
Yeah, well, they've been coming through for a long time with me for like over 25 odd
Okay.
years, and I feel in other cultures they might be called like angelic. In this culture, the Celtic culture, they're the gods of the fairy.
Mm.
But when I've had the experience of them, they are massive. So that's what I go on.
Well,
So when anything is really huge, when I experience them in the physical as huge, that means very high dimension. They're very light, they're shining, and
right.
they're pretty warrior like. They're like kick ass, they fucking well are. They're very light vibration. They're from, it feels in a way a future. They're holding the future new earth.
Yeah.
They're the ancient and the future. They're kind of holding that bridge, and they feel to me a bit Venusian as well.
Mm.
But they are a particular. They're so bright. In a way, they could be. You could say they're us
Yeah.
as
I, I,
well.
I mean,
From
ultimately, that seems to be. So then you have, because I know you're many things are, including elemental. But surely, I think you definitely got some elemental going on too. And having been on your property and taking a walk, yeah, fairies, just the energy there. And I don't know if I told you this. I don't think I talked to you. I did talk about it on a show. But the last night I was there after we went to Earl's show, and I stayed out and just sat on the steps because the stars are out like not any other night I was there. They were just huge. They were like, it's crazy. Well, I ended up having this. I had these 12 aspects of me that came in when I first reawoke, and I hadn't seen them individually, and certainly not as a group, in a long, long time. So I'm like, what's going on with this? And they're like, get ready. And then they were showing me these two, because one of them is Chief Running Bear, one of three spirit guides, and like this, as it was explained to me, the spirit of my father. And any time that he's come, there's been two things: one, overcoming fear, and two, kind of like a heads up, like a heads up. So anyway, the next thing I know, I'm watching a vision of a bear, a tall bear that I can't remember all the details, but that was kind of mistreated, got his feelings hurt. And so he came and sat next to me. And then there was this small bear. We start watching this small bear who was being mistreated, who was obviously a less mature energy, and really got his feelings hurt like a kid would. So then that bear came and sat with me. And then we just kind of like watched a bunch of stuff. It was weird though, but I was wondering, on your property, do you guys pick up anything like that with the nature beings and the animal spirits and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think all the time. And we have, when we bought the property, the old owner left his TV monitor of it shows the outside 4 different directions of what's going on. So at night especially, you see a lot that's captured on, I guess, the videotaping. So there's like tons of spirits, orbs. I think I told you, Todd, December 21st, two December 21st in a row, there was like a how can I say it, like a stairway to like ovals,
Wow.
circulars, all the way from the pool. It's like up the stairs to heaven. And and they were both on December 21st. Now, Earl went out to the lens with a broom and, swept to make sure there was no spider webs or cobwebs or anything. And there wasn't. And then I noticed again this year, December 21st, that same, I'll call it portal, opened up at the exact same place. It
Wow.
was really, it was really uncanny.
That's at your
So
that's at your property, right?
yeah, right. With the pools, the stairs to go up into the pool,
Yeah, yeah.
and that exact same spot. So yeah, there's stuff. I mean, I don't I don't get stuff like you two is very often. A lot of my stuff comes in my dreams, or I don't get the visions like Todd you get or Zahara. Mine comes differently. So um, when I actually see, an actual animal, they'll give me in a message or something, but I don't sense quite yet like you guys do the fairy elementals and stuff. I guess I work a little different. Sometimes I always used to wish, oh, I wish I could be like
Yeah, but
Sahara or
I
something.
think we set up, each one of us set up not to remember so much, otherwise the game's over.
Right.
But you just said something. Oh, you know what happened
Then
was, another thing that's been happening, and I'm sure it's been happening to everybody without even asking, is the level and frequency of synchronicity has been mind blowing. So, like when I went to your place, there was just synchronicities all the time, constantly. So then I get on the road, and I started feeling that pull, and then you sent me a note, and you sent me a few notes, and then you sent me. And this is kind of an example too of how things happen to me, and I know everybody's different. So you sent me this video of all these orbs, because when I was there, she had the security system, like she said, that the previous owner left, and there's these 4 cameras, and she was telling me how these orbs, because I asked her, like, you must catch some orbs now and then. She goes, yeah, now and then. But after I left, I mean, the night that I left, that morning, it would be the early morning after we watched Earl play with a band, and they went to bed, and I was sitting on the steps of this RV. There was more stars than I'd seen out there, like not by a little either. It was like huge. It was like somebody turned on some other light behind the stars or something. So I knew it was a very meaningful, important time. But whenever I was driving, and Shirley, you sent me the video of all these orbs, and as soon as I started to watch them, they started talking to me. And what they started telling me was, we are so excited. We are so excited for what's happened here, and the fact that the four of y'all came together on this land. It's a portal, as you know, blah, blah, blah. It was just telling me, don't give up, keep going. We believe in you, that kind of stuff. And that's how it's been the whole way since. It's been like with the mother's energy over here, who has certainly brought me to levels of humility in my previous 9 trips, many, many times. But she keeps telling me, we love you, we believe in you, you can do this, you have to do this, as we all have to do this on your own, but you can do this, and don't be so afraid that you don't try. It's okay to be scared, but you can be fearless and scared, and just go for it, and and know that it's not going to operate like it has in the past. And it's been my saving grace, because I literally wanted to quit like 7 times in the last 8 days. But I'm not going to. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Zahara, Zahara,
yeah.
I I really feel like there's something big brewing in you, like that needs to be expressed,
Yes.
and I've felt it for like 10 minutes, so I don't know what it is.
I think she's summoning Luciano Pavarotti. Opera light
Oh,
language. No, whatever you. Yeah, I feel what she's saying. I think Shirley's absolutely right. Yeah, go for it.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what all the heart beating was about. So, yeah, I'd love to share some. That's okay. Well, uh, beautiful souls. Thank you so much, Todd, Shirley, and everybody here. That's take a breath and breathe and be with all these beautiful resonances that we all are. We're so excited. We're so excited for you, Todd. Oh, we're going to be there with you. We're going to be there with you. There's lots of fairy around Arkansas. Oh, we're going to be there with you. We're going to be little people. We're going to... We haven't mentioned dragon. Yes, you. So below all this laughter and play and all this, there's some sadness to be released that collectively that you gathering will be able to release, because Arkansas, the quartz crystal resonance there held in inner earth, and see so much joy, and through that joy will gracefully clear so much of the heart. And there is a galactic matrix coming on online. Yeah, something being brought from the past. That's why you are still being in kotokoya, which is the old word kotokoya, norokoya, anna, in those lands for linear time. And while you hold linear time, you are able to bring forth specific hidden tools, gifts that were buried in the land, in this resonance, in the 3D, that will serve the 3D. Those are still being held in the 3D. And the synchronicity is you collectively moving out, in and out of that linear time, and stretching. You're stretching. This is how time is evolving. You're stretching linear time. So then it goes. Yeah, the collective third eye. That's what's happening with the sun. It's the collective third eye, awakening the higher humanity over soul. And there is a collective Native American resonance that just comes through there. Really, really, I've not had that come through before. Very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
That feels very reassuring, very whole, very mothering, and very bear resonance, actually. Mother bear. Bear being the real, high totem healer.
Yeah.
So I told you do a lot of healing because you bring in bear. That was a lot that came in.
That wasn't, but that I'm really glad that you did that, because obviously we all have our doubts, and but it's funny because once I moved out of our house, as a lot of people know, I put our stuff in storage. I went to a hotel for 4 nights just to try to get my head together, and then the mountain called me, so I went to the town of Ozark, which is at the base of the mountain, and stayed in this $50 a night hotel, and got eaten alive by spiders and bugs for 2 days. But more importantly, the mountain came twice and merged with me. And then I got spit out of there, and I had to go to the town, to the big city, Fort Smith, and I was hanging out there waiting for directions, and it came again, and it said to me, "You're not coming up here right now. you're going to come before the festival, like, they didn't tell me exactly, like, say 2 weeks before, 10 days, 3 weeks, I don't know. Said, we're preparing it for you. But in these mergings, all of these different beings came. Nature beings, Sasquatch, bears, animals, a lot of animals, a lot of off-planet nature beings, a lot of primordial inner earth beings. But it was like, and it still is, I can feel it. Like when you were doing that, it was bringing it all back. But I could feel it like a body. Like the mountain was a body. And it would show me the eyes, it would show me the arms, it would show me the feet, it would show me the heart. And the message, because they've told me all along, it's not going to make any sense. It's not going to make any sense. So you can't compare it to anything else. But you're going to be absolutely blown away to the results. And I think one of the other things that we can remind ourselves too in our lives is we can't really measure the outcome of our experiences based on linear appraisal systems. That what you were speaking to in this channel is what I've been getting, and that is that not just with the Soulogy Fest and not just with Soulogy, but with all our lives, the impact of in the energetic field of what we're doing, even in the most mundane experiences of utilizing our discernment and making choices, is impacting every timeline, and this is such a universal correction. So, I'm just going to keep going. I'm not going to stop till I drop until I find the highest love in me. And but yeah, I think it's really time to, and I feel like this is part of what Soulogy does. It's really time to recognize and allow these parts of us to be a part of our lives, and not some kind of figment of our imagination, but actually feed that. So, I came back from the Soulogy Fest in Sedona. It was extremely successful. Everybody received abundance, and they'll tell you, everyone that participated, even the people that just took the trash out, we did the best we could. I arrived home with less than $200, and I was totally happy with that. We obviously, things that we do, we learn, and we refine. And again, these are all just microcosms of the same equation that we have from moment to moment through our lives, especially now. But yeah, I just know that it's not in the numbers per se; it's in the energetic field, and yeah, we've got a lot of support. I think I'm really happy, and I'm thankful that you did that channeling.
Yeah,
that's about as pure as you can get. Sometimes people do that type of thing, and you just know, like, you can't fake that. Like, that's.
I feel that Arkansas carries, because of the crystal deposits, it carries so much information and wisdom, and it's the time now to unearth that, and I'm sure that Soulogy Fest is part of that unearthing.
Yeah.
Especially, I think it's because, like Zahara, you said a little bit ago, not only, there's many that have come to Arkansas and to the crystals by themselves and alone, but people now coming together with their own coding is really gonna blast that up.
And I think what she said too about you hear about how, let's say, post Atlantis, how there was, like a group that were basically the ones that were protecting the secreted knowledge, right? The esoterics, the history, the Akashic, whatever. Some went to Tibet by report. Some went to other power places. But one of the things that there's, and I've had a friend that researches quite a bit of this, that actually lives in that area, and I've looked into some things as well. But there's a lot to be said for that they had buried crystals in certain places that contain the information that she was referring to in the channel. So, we're talking about how the type of, let's for lack of a better word, technology that built the pyramids, right? That built these megalith and monolith structures that defy science and human comprehension. So we're talking about a convergence of all of these consciousnesses or species. To include crystals are just as much alive as we are. The mountain is, the streams, the waterfalls, and they got it all on that mountain. But yeah, I think that, and just one other funny thing, I got called to that little town. Crazy. I left Houston with 11 cents in my pocket, and a sister picked me up, and she happened to live in that town. And it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks later, we got called to near that mountain, part of that system, like 5-10 miles down the road. And I went to a swimming hole, and it was nighttime, and I was instructed to gather all these rocks and to take all my gatherings that were in my backpack, which were like sticks Merlin gave me, and just different things, right? Different what do you call them? Things that you carry that are like you would a crystal. So I put everything in there, and I'm not going to go into all the details of the story, but the funny thing was when you started doing that channeling part of it, when the fairies were coming in, that was the first time, and one of them, I've only seen them like 3 times, right? But this was such a powerful experience because I was at the base of the mountain in the swimming hole, middle of the night. It's pitch dark. I'm looking at these mountains, and these thunderboons start going across the mountains as I'm talking to the universe with a witness. Okay, these apparitions appeared and came onto the swimming hole. But what was so funny is when I lit the fire, and then I was told, you need to take off your clothes, you need to roll around in the dirt and growl, and it was just like, what the hell am I doing? And so when I went into the water, all of a sudden, like right as I was stepping into the water, there was all these infinitesimal lights all along the bank and in the water, and they started making the sounds that you were making. And in that instant, it's crazy, but in that instant, as I was stepping into the water, I was like, oh my God, I remember every one of you. And it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like like at a soul intimate level, I knew every one of them. It was crazy. But yeah, I think that type of, let's just say that type of atmosphere, I'm at home, like totally just pure organic nature. That's just for me, that's always been that way. But yeah, that was cool that you did that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys
I
got
wanted
anything
to share-
else? You guys got anything
Yeah,
else? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
got one more thing. When on the pilgrimage, I went to this lake. There's 2 lakes in Snowdonia with the same name, which I feel is there to make sure that you really have to be a true seeker to find it. And this lake, the Tibetan monks went to, and they swam around this lake, and in the middle of the lake is a floating island.
Wow.
So we went and found the lake after going to the other lake with the same name first. And it has a beautiful resonance. And I felt a calling to walk further around the lake, which this is only the second time I've been to the lake.
Right.
And I walked around it, and I had the feeling this is on the edge of the world. This lake is on the edge of the world. And I got round the bend, round the lake, and then I could see to the ocean, and I was not clear whether I was seeing it in my inner vision, in the 3D physical. It was all sort of melting away, whatever felt reality I was in. And then I moved my head around, and then there was this sort of hill that's one of the hills that overlooking the lake. And it had such a galactic resonance. It was, the only way I can describe it is, it was a spaceship and a mountain. It was alive. It was external from Gaia. It had like a silver platinum in the 3D. It looked like it was metal. And I'm like, literally, fucking hell.
Yeah.
I've never
Is that
experienced anything like it. anything like it. Something's just been switched on. And what freaked me out was, I know this, but it's so alien and it's sitting there. So I went and got the other people that were two other people there, and I said, you got to come and see this. And went round, and they were like, one of them was suddenly feeling really sick, another person's feeling really dizzy, and I'm like, this has been here, hidden for eons, and is just switched on. Sorry, you just wanted to say something.
What?
So I just
No, you're good.
yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
Was
so-
was that Lake Mano Savar that you're talking about?
No.
Okay, I was just curious because she was asking.
I would, I'd have
And
to look
then
it up.
you were just saying something though. What were oh, yeah. I just wonder if like sometimes, like even when I walk around here in Sedona, like, and because one thing I've noticed for myself, and I've asked a few people, and they've kind of gotten the same thing, which is when I look in the mountains and I look at large stones or rocks formations, I see so much more than I used to, and I've always seen the grandfather rocks, the grandmother rocks, but I see so much more recently. I don't know what's going on with that, and it makes me wonder, like going back to your what you were telling us, if they are just veiled and we're walking outside of our spaceships just in this virtual world, just, and we're all
I love that.
you know what I mean, and we're at like a Star Wars bar, at the end of the day, and we're looking out the window watching, each one of us have a meltdown. Shirley, do you got anything else? I've got my.
I just really feel like the significance of I don't know what's going on in my camera. The significance of Soulogy, the Soulogy Fest being held in Arkansas, is huge. I really feel that there's obviously there's more than we can understand and why it's there, but I know that I was told years and years, 20 years ago, that I was seen earthing the crystals when Atlantis fell, and that I was here to unearth these crystals.
Yeah.
And what that means and all entails, I have no idea, but I know I'm not the only one. And so I just thank you and Morgan for holding the space and being led and listening to the guidance, because I think Arkansas is really big.
It is. I've been called there. Like I said, I had an office in Tulsa in my corporate life for years, and so I covered that Northwest Arkansas area. So I would dip in and dip out, but never like night after night or whatever. So when I got called to Van Buren, which is a little town outside of Fort Smith, in 2016, I stayed there 2 months. I made a bunch of music for the. I really focused on that. Went to New York City, which was also foreseen. But so then the next year, Morgan came, and we ended up by coincidence going to the same place and doing the first Soulogy show live stream. Like we did some rapping and talking and all that, brought other people on, and then we went back the next year. 2018, I went through there. Well, she was coming back here, and then 2019 we went through there. And then 2020, we moved there. So there's something going on with that, and I have understood that, and it has been very good to me over there. But yeah, I think there's... my impression for a long time has been that there's going to be certain power points that are going to emerge like Sedona is now, or like Shasta is now, or like Glastonbury, right? Like there's going to be certain power points that are going to rise, whether that's literal or both, and really that Arkansas is one of them. That area is one of them. Like if you take Eureka Springs down to Fort Smith over to Hot Springs, there's something going on there, and we know that they're just covered in crystal beds. It's beautiful seeing you. Huh?
Me
It's the
and
same
Earl
with
just went-
Snowdonia as well.
Yeah.
All in Wales. There's golden crystal quartz. There's loads of gold.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and here's
So
the
much.
Yeah, here's the thing too. I got on the road leaving Shirley and Earl's place, and nobody knows I'm going to Sedona except for Shirley and Earl and our friend and Morgan and my two friends here, where they offered me a place to stay, and they have this place where we're broadcast. So I'm driving down the road. I'm trying to do a live on the multi-stream service. It doesn't work. So I want to test it. So I call my friend Delia Flores, who's part of the team. I said, let me call you on Messenger and let's test my mic because it wasn't working. I didn't know if it was the app or it was my phone. So I get her on and she's talking, and so it was all good. And she goes, I got to tell you something, brother. Last night I went and connected, and I'm all of a sudden sitting with the mountains of Sedona, and she named them. Something back. I can't remember what the name is. Camelback, Saddleback, something like that. And she says, and then I was through Sedona, going through the Rocky Mountains like a channel, like a phone, like a highway of communication into the Ozark Mountains. So Sedona was communicating with her, ultimately to the Ozark Mountains. And I said, you're never going to guess where I'm headed right now. It's just Sedona. So yeah, I can feel the lands working with us big time, and I think your channel kind of serves us there. Hey, you know what? It's been an absolute blast having you guys on. I love it when we have some new stuff going on, and I really appreciate it. I love you both. Tell Earl I
Love
said
you.
hi,
Well,
and
Morgan.
what's that?
Love you both, and Morgan.
Love
Yeah.
you guys.
Thank you so much.
Morgan
Y'all,
for ages.
what's that?
I haven't seen Morgan for ages.
Oh, she's you know how she is. She's always in the background. She doesn't want to be
Right.
seen. Well, you guys take care. I love you. I'll be back in 53 minutes with Victoria Lillenquist and a bunch of
Oh,
flying objects and great stories. All right, we'll see y'all. Thanks.